Hello, this is Blake Graham, Triple Diamond with Youngevity, and I'm here today with Dr. Peter Glidden. How are you today, Dr. Glidden?
Fantastic, Blake. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. We're excited today to share with all of the people that are listening to this CD information on the products. Now, by this time, they probably heard the Best of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, or your CD on Who Made MD's King, and they're ready for some information specifically on products. So before we jump into that, I would like to give people some background on who you are and your experience.
Fantastic. Well, that's easy. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. I graduated from Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine in Seattle in 1991. Before that, I did my pre-med at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. I graduated there in 1987, and that's an interesting story. I was doing my pre-med to be a conventional medical doctor. And it was 3 months before I was set to graduate in my senior year. I became very sick. I got sick, and nobody could help me. I had fever. I had chills. I couldn't keep anything down. I had a little bit of digestive upset. And I was going from bad to worse, and nobody could help me. The last 4 days of the illness, I was basically just languishing in bed. Now, I knew some people at the time who knew a naturopathic doctor who lived in the same town that I did, and irony of ironies, in 1987 there were only 2 naturopathic physicians in the entire state of Massachusetts.
Wow.
And one of them happened to live in the town that I lived in. It was a college town, right? Big university, a number of big universities all around this town. So in any event, I'd been in bed for 4 days, more or less. I was carried into this doctor's office by 2 friends of mine. I'll never forget it. I had an arm around each of their shoulders. And this doctor, his office was up in an old building. They didn't have an elevator, and it was on the 2nd floor. I'll never forget walking up those long sets of stairs with an arm around each of my buddies, going to this doctor's office. And, I'll admit it, I was an arrogant pre-med student. That type of education kind of breeds that. And I didn't know who this guy was, and I didn't know what a naturopath was, but I was pretty sure he was a quack. But I had nothing to lose, right? And I trusted the advice of the friend who said I should go give this guy a try, so I did. So I met the doctor. He was like an old-fashioned country doctor. He's since become a good friend of mine. Put me on an exam table, poked around, drew some blood, asked me some questions, looked at a couple of books, asked me some more questions, scratched his chin, and gave me a medicine. He gave me a homeopathic medicine, and nothing happened. He scratched his chin, poked around again, asked me some more questions, gave me a different medicine, and about 2 minutes after I swallowed that second medicine, my entire body started shaking like a leaf. I went into the restroom and threw up this disgusting bilious sludge, probably about half a quart. It was a lot of stuff came out. And as soon as that stuff left my body, I felt like somebody had unrolled a Venetian blind from my toes all the way to my head. And hallelujah, I was cured.
Wow.
I was carried into the guy's office. I walked out of it. I went home. I slept for, 16 hours or something like that. I woke up the next day born again. And at that moment in time, everything in my brain changed. And I lost my prejudice. I kind of woke up to the wonderful potential of holistic medicine. And 4 months later, I was a freshman at Naturopathic Medical School where this doctor went.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a radical, life-changing event. And as fate would have it, when I was at Naturopathic Medical School for those 4 years, I had the distinct sense that I was in the right place at the right time, doing exactly the right thing. And it was some of the best 4 years of my life. It was just fantastic, my educational experience there.
Well, for only 2 doctors in the state, and one of them to be there at the time when you needed it, and you happened to need him at that time. Call it destiny, call it divine intervention. It sounds like you were meant to be in this profession.
Absolutely. And you know what they say, how do you make God laugh? Tell him your future plans, right? I had no idea. So it was really a great thing. And so I'm a dyed-in-the-wool naturopathic physician based on personal experience. And so, it's really been a very rewarding thing for me, and I can't be happier to be a naturopathic doctor.
As a naturopathic doctor, you do a lot with helping the body heal itself by giving it the right nutrients.
Absolutely. So naturopathic doctors, right, are the only doctors in the United States. It's the only physician-level training that actually teaches science-based, medically verified, safe and effective alternatives to drugs and surgery. We're taught clinical nutrition. We're taught botanical medicine. We're taught homeopathy. We're taught hydrotherapy and old-fashioned naturopathic cleansing techniques. All of these techniques are designed with one goal. That goal is to support and promote the body's ability to fix itself. Let me tell you something. When you do that, remarkable, life-altering, positive things happen.
Now, as a naturopath, Dr. Glidden, you've also been involved in making sure that naturopathic doctors get approved in various states. You've been successful in 4 states already. Yeah,
this is a big thing that nobody really talks a lot about, and it's a problem in the United States because our access to health care is limited. As a naturopathic physician in the state of Washington, for instance, where I lived and worked for a number of years, I can deliver babies, prescribe drugs, order any diagnostic tests I want, do minor surgery, work in hospitals, and it's all covered by insurance. And I can legally refer to myself as a physician. If I was to do exactly the same thing in the state of Illinois, for instance, I'd be fined $5,000 and sent to jail for a year for practicing medicine without a license. So let's get this straight. Just by crossing state lines, all of a sudden, I become persona non grata and a danger to the community, and that's just nonsense. Currently, as of 2011, naturopathic medicine is licensed in 16 states only in the United States. The American Medical Association has a funded branch whose job it is to impede the licensure of naturopathic medicine in states where we are not licensed. It's a problem. Most people don't know about it, and Dr. Wallach has done a lot to get naturopathic medicine licensed in different states around the United States, as have I. It's a mission, because we are trying to change the way that medicine is practiced here and wake people up to the reality that their choices in medicine are limited.
I know with Dr. Wallach, one of the things that I always talk with people about is because he's a veterinarian, and not just a veterinarian, the veterinarian that helped increase and double, almost triple the lifespan of our pets, that he has access to centuries and centuries and centuries of veterinarian science that most nutritional companies will never, ever even take a look at.
This is another 300-pound gorilla in the wonderful world of modern science. We are led to believe that scientists are open-minded people. And, it was a big shock to me when I figured out that just the opposite is true. Most scientists become very close-minded as they march down the road of their professional career. It's easy to become wrapped up in your own point of view so that you're just automatically dismissing all other points of view and you don't even know that you're doing it. A perfect example of this is the non-relationship that exists between veterinarian science and human science. Really, Dr. Wallach's $25 million federally funded research project conclusively proved that nutritional deficiencies produced extreme negative effects across species lines. It didn't matter if it was a bat, a buffalo, a boa constrictor, or a human. If there was a calcium deficiency, that animal or that person got sick, suffered, and then died. It didn't matter what species it was. And there are very few scientists, there are even fewer doctors, that are able to kind of see through the prejudice that separates these two systems of medicine. Dr. Wallach's the only one that I know that's been able to do it. So because of his open-mindedness and because of his attention to detail and fact, he was able to use all of this information from animal science and marry it with all of the research done on human nutrition. And that's the major reason why the Youngevity products are so fantastic.
And veterinarian science, I know, is always focused on results because the veterinarians don't really worry about what the animals want to buy. It's about whether or not they get results, because farmers don't want to pay extra money for things that don't get results.
Right, and there's no placebo effect, right, in veterinary medicine. That's one thing. The other thing is, and this, again, is something that's really quite startling when you think about it. I've been doing clinical work for 22 years now with vitamins and nutritional supplements and botanical medicine. And Youngevity and Dr. Wallach is the only company and the only doctor that I've ever met, and I've met a lot of people, that teach the dose-dependent method. You know, somebody who's 100 pounds is going to need less nutrition than someone who's 300 pounds and vice versa.
Just like bigger cars need more gas.
Absolutely. You know, veterinarians know this. Veterinarians attend to this. And this is just a normal thing in veterinarian medicine, that a 3-pound dog is going to need a different formulation of vitamins than a 73-pound dog. And so they get it. It's all based on the animal's body weight. Well, Dr. Wallach is the only one that carries that over into the humans. And it's really startling to me that nobody else does this, because it makes all the difference in the world. You know, clinical nutrition produces results based on, it's a dose-dependent phenomenon. If you're not taking enough or you're not absorbing enough appropriate for your body weight, you're spitting into the wind, and you might as well not do it. It's extremely important to get enough of the stuff based on your body weight, and Dr. Wallach is the only one that's talking about that.
Tell us about your exposure to Dr. Wallach, because I know you originally had Dr. Wallach's CD 19 years ago.
Yeah,
didn't listen to it.
Rub it in, Blake, rub it in.
Well, I know it took me 3 times. Maybe you didn't get 3 back then. But what was it that actually got you to take a look at Dr. Wallach's protocols, his supplements?
That's a good question. I think it was timing. You know, the naturopathic medical community is very small. It's bigger now than it was when I was a freshman and even when I graduated. It's a very small profession, and everybody knew everybody. So I knew who Dr. Wallach was, but all I really knew about him was that he was a naturopathic doctor who had a networked vitamin business, and I had a built-in a priori prejudice against networked businesses, and I have no idea why. I really don't know why that existed for me, but it did.
Because of that prejudice, you didn't even take a look at Dr. Wallach's programs or his products.
Boy, I'm kicking myself now. I didn't even take a look, right? Because my prejudice stopped me. It got in the way.
If I remember the story right, you're at a health conference and you run into Dr. Wallach and he invites you to come to a meeting.
Yeah, well, it's a little more complicated than that. I'm at an annual naturopathic medical conference, and I just checked in. I think it was someplace in Seattle, and I had been living in Massachusetts, so I had a long flight and I was kind of tired. I just checked in, and I was sitting on the couch in the main reception area for the conference. And Dr. Wallach comes marching by. He waves at me and marches by, and then he stops, turns around, comes over, bends over, looks at me, and says, "I want to tell you what we're doing. Come down to Kankakee next week," and Kankakee was very close to where I was living at the time, "and I'll show you what we're doing. What do you have to lose?" I said, "Okay, Doc, I'm in." I don't know why I said that. I think it was just because I trusted him. You know, I was listening, I was open, I was receptive, and I trusted him. So I went to Kankakee, and that's the day my head exploded.
Your head exploded? What do you mean, your head exploded?
Well, here I am. You know, I'm a naturopathic physician, right? I've got 2 decades of clinical experience. And, you know, whenever anybody has a medical degree, let's face it, there's a little bit of hubris that comes along with that. You know, there's a little bit of self-importance, I think. So, you know, I thought that I was a pretty talented doctor. I mean, I'd gotten good clinical results. And here I am in Kankakee. And I'm the only doctor in the room other than Dr. Wallach. There's probably 45 lay people in the room who have had better results than I have with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and arthritis. And they were lay people. And they had also helped more people in their lives than I had. And that's when my head exploded.
What did they do?
They were Youngevity distributors. They had heard Dr. Wallach, taken the products, recovered their health, became enamored of the business message and the mission that Dr. Wallach's on, and went for it. And this is a beautiful thing. And this is the thing. This is the hardest thing, I think, for people to understand, that health care is easy. Healing the body is easy. You don't have to be a doctor to do it. Surgery is difficult. You need to be a doctor to do that. You need to know what you're doing when you're trying to pull a bullet out of somebody's arm or remove an infected gallbladder. But helping someone to recover from a chronic disease, supporting and promoting health and recovery in the human body is easier than falling off a truck. And when I realized that, I broke through. I had a eureka moment. It was an aha moment, and my life has never been the same.
That's when you realize that if you give the body better stuff, it does better.
Absolutely. And the results that I was seeing from the people that were at the lecture were 100 times better than anything that I had seen previously. So not only if you give the body the good stuff, it gets better, but if you give the body excellent stuff, the results are phenomenal, fantastic, and sometimes unbelievable.
So you started using the products then?
Oh, yeah, and I've never looked back.
Do you use them in your practice?
That's the only thing that I use in my practice. It's the only I threw everything else out. Why would you drink Annie Boone Springs green apple wine when you have access to a nice French Cabernet, right? There's a giant difference.
It hasn't made a difference in the results your patients see.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know what planet I'm on sometimes, because I didn't think you could recover from type 2 diabetes that quickly. I didn't think you could recover from osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, high blood pressure that quickly. I didn't think you could recover from congestive heart failure and asthma that quickly. I didn't think that you could lose 130 pounds in 4 months. I didn't think you could do that. I didn't think you could regrow cartilage on top of a fake knee. Dr. Wallach's stuff produces such remarkable results. Sometimes I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore, because I didn't think you could fix that.
So let's talk now specifically about these products. There's a core that we always talk about, the 90 essential nutrients, Dr. Wallach likes to call it. Tell us a little bit about the 90 essential nutrients. What are they? What do they do in the body?
Well, first of all, there are a number of classifications of nutrients that the body needs. Essential nutrients are called essential because the body cannot make them. Cholesterol, for instance, is a very important nutritional substance to the body, but the body can make it. So therefore, it's not considered essential. Essential nutrients have to be imported. This is why we need to eat food, mostly, because the body has nutritional requirements that it cannot meet on its own. So we got to put stuff down the hatch. The 91 essential nutrients, if anybody that's listened to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie tape should know by now, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids. These are the raw materials that the human body needs every day in order to function properly. And it is impossible to get these from our food. You just can't do it. That's because the minerals are only in the soil, but they're not evenly spread out in the soil. So if they're not in the soil, they're not in the lettuce. If they're not in the lettuce, they're not in your body. They're not in the soil. So everybody is down half a tank or 2/3 of a tank because nobody supplements appropriately. And when people do get a clue and go to the health food store or GNC and try to get supplements, it's an inferior recipe or it's an inferior product, or they're micromanaging stuff and they're just not taking enough. And so they get poor results, and then they think nutrition doesn't work, and it's bad.
I know that I often refer to it like a restaurant. Just because they've eaten at one restaurant that they didn't like the taste of doesn't mean that all restaurants are bad. They might have tried supplements that didn't work for them, but it doesn't mean that no supplements will work.
Yeah,
they just have to get the right supplements.
That's correct. That's why there's an actress on TV who can say that she got osteoporosis even though she took her calcium. Well, that's like me saying, I tried to put that fire in my backyard out with water and it didn't work, but not telling you that all I used was a squirt gun. It makes a giant difference how much you take, how frequently you take it, and the whole recipe, and how well your body's able to absorb it.
Does everybody need the 90 essential nutrients?
Only if they're alive.
Okay. All ages?
All ages. Actually, all ages, including prenatal. Dr. Wallach's research has shown that all birth defects, 100% of birth defects, are caused by nutrient deficiencies in the pregnant mother. So everybody needs the 91 essential nutrients every day, even unborn children.
Okay, so if we're going to get all of the 90 essential nutrients, and you look specifically at the products in Youngevity, what is your favorite package that you like to encourage people to use?
That's easy. It's the Healthy Start Pack. That's one Beyond Tangy Tangerine, vitamin and amino acid and antioxidant powder. One liquid Osteo FX Plus. It's a liquid calcium with cofactors. And one bottle of essential fatty acid. It's called EFA Plus. That package gives all of the 91 essential nutrients in a very easy to absorb recipe. It's my favorite.
Let's talk first then about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, because I think that's one of the core products now in Youngevity, and one that almost everybody starts with, is because it has 130 vitamins, minerals, amino acids, along with 115 fruits and vegetables. And it has a unique delivery system as well, this NutriCrystal technology, brand new technology that in some ways is even a step above liquids.
It's really a testament to Dr. Wallach's intelligence, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Not only the stuff that's in there, but the physical form that it's in. Those crystals weren't easy to do. It took, I think, 4 or 5 years of testing and development in order to come up with a crystalline micronutrient structure that was easy to dissolve in water and easy to absorb without losing any of its nutritive integrity. It's an unbelievable, cutting-edge, state-of-the-art nutritional supplement. And that's just because of the way that it's put together. When you add that to the stuff that's in it, there's nothing in the world that comes even close to it, because with that one supplement, you get all of your vitamins, all of your minerals, and a lot of antioxidants from 115 fruits and vegetables. It's just a slam dunk as far as a nutritional supplement goes. And you know what? It tastes pretty good too.
Yeah, I know that my 2-year-old loves the product and asks for it every day.
Yeah, and that doesn't, that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, right?
Well, I know there's a lot of nutritional products out there she wouldn't ask for. Okay, well, to that, I know there's some calcium in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine already, but in the Healthy Start, we've got an additional product, the Osteo FX Plus, right? Yeah. If there's already calcium in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the BTT as we call it, why have an extra calcium product?
Because the body requires massive amounts of calcium. Think about it. Your skeleton, calcium. Most of your cartilage, calcium. Your body needs calcium in order to regulate your heartbeat. Your body needs calcium in order to conduct nerve signals. Your body needs calcium in order to dilate or constrict arteries and regulate your blood pressure. There are 147 diseases that are caused by a calcium deficiency. 147. So because of all of this, Dr. Wallach knew that his calcium formula had to be extremely absorbable. One of the most absorbable forms of calcium is calcium in a liquid form. Dr. Wallach's company, Youngevity, has put together a liquid calcium supplement that's 98% absorbable. 98% absorbable. That's huge. Nobody else even comes close to that with, capsules or hard-pressed tablets, right? So it's a standalone product because it's a liquid product and because the body has tremendous needs for calcium. So in order to fulfill those needs, Dr. Wallach made a standalone product that gives the body all the calcium that it needs in one container. It's just a great product.
And it also has a number of cofactors that the body needs to make the calcium work in a variety of situations.
Oh, yeah. It has magnesium and boron and strontium and vitamin D. The recipe, again, is the best that science has to offer, and that also makes a difference. And then when you put that in a liquid form with a form of calcium that's 98% absorbable, and you also have a lot of liquid colloidal plant-derived minerals also in the supplement, boy, it's a slam dunk.
That's probably one of the reasons that Dr. Wallach specializes in calcium deficiencies and helping people feel better when they get calcium that they can actually absorb. It's not just having some calcium. You have to have enough to do the job, and you have to be able to absorb it.
That's right. And this is an interesting thing to talk about also, because there's a tendency in medicine now for something called fractionated nutrition. A lot of people who don't really know any better, a lot of people who aren't really versed or educated in the holistic method, will start to use high doses of calcium or high doses of magnesium or high doses of vitamin C or high doses of essential fatty acids because they don't understand the holistic nature of the body, that the body doesn't just need a lot of calcium. The body needs calcium and the 90 other essential nutrients that it needs to absorb and metabolize and lay down and utilize the calcium. It's a package deal in the body. This is why we give not just calcium, or even not just calcium, magnesium, and strontium in one formula, but we give the 91 essential nutrients, which includes a 98% absorbable calcium. When you do it holistically like that, you get phenomenal results.
And talking about fractionated nutrition, and one of the analogies we use is that nowhere in Mother Nature can you find any natural food source that only has one nutrient.
Right. Exactly right. And so, what we do, what naturopathic holistic physicians are trained to do, is we take our lead from Mother Nature. And that's why our therapeutics produce remarkable results.
And that's why veterinarian science always does things in packages and not individual nutrients, not one nutrient at a time.
Correct, because they understand the holistic, synergistic nature of medical nutrition.
Well, let's talk about some of those essential fatty acids that aren't in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a separate product. Why, in the Healthy Start, is that a separate product? Why couldn't they just throw that into one of the other products?
Well, because oil and water don't mix, right? The essential fatty acids are oil. They're fish oil and plant oils in little gelatin capsules that have been processed, by the way, in nitrogen chambers. And they've been processed in nitrogen chambers so that when the oil is being squirted into the little gelatin capsule, if any gas gets in there, it's going to be nitrogen and not oxygen.
Why is that important?
Because oxygen oxidizes things and causes them to go rancid. This is why we do not advise using any oil in a bottle. Because, if oil's in a bottle, it's exposed to air. And the longer it's exposed to air, the more it will oxidize. And the more oxidized it becomes and you consume it, you're basically pouring into your stomach free radicals which cause inflammation and tissue destruction, and you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that.
So when we talk about essential fatty acids, obviously the name implies that they're essential.
Right.
Where do they get used in the body? Where in the body do we need essential fatty acids?
Well, we need essential fatty acids in a lot of different places, but the main places that essential fatty acids produce their effectiveness and that the body uses them is in the brain, the central nervous system, and the blood and the cardiovascular system. The body uses essential fatty acids to keep the blood thin, in order to keep the blood at a healthy viscosity. This is why one of Dr. Wallach's certified health claims that he was able to secure from suing the FDA allows us to legally say that essential fatty acids significantly reduce the risk of stroke. What causes stroke? Stroke is caused by blood clotting inside your arteries and veins. What causes blood to clot inside your arteries and veins? Not enough essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are also necessary for fatty tissue to be able to metabolize sugar optimally. It's also necessary for the integrity of cellular membranes. It's very important for a number of things. I think that we get the most bang from our buck from essential fatty acids in illnesses that involve the brain, the central nervous system, and the blood.
So let's talk about dosage. I know when we talk about how much nutrition to take, that we often take into account the results a person wants to get as well as their budget.
Right.
It does them no good if they kind of load up for a couple of weeks and then don't take any supplements after that. You know, it's easy to go downhill again.
Right.
We want them to be able to have a dose that they can stay on. So for a lot of people, that means one healthy start a month. But if they want better results, then, like you said, take it by body weight. For some, that could be 2 healthy starts a month.
Yeah, the basic rule of thumb here is it's 1 healthy start pack per month per 100 pounds of body weight. Now, if you're 165 pounds, you're right in the middle zone there. So you can do 1.5 bottles of Beyond Tangy Tangerine a month, or you can just go for it and take 2. But listen, if you can't afford it, let's say you're 200 pounds, but you can only afford the 100-pound dose. Take it, because here's the situation. Everybody in the United States is nutritionally deficient. Everybody is. It is impossible to get all 91 essential nutrients from food. You cannot do it. Everybody is down 1/2 a tank or 2/3 of a tank in their nutritional zone. So because everybody needs the 91 essential nutrients, even if you can't take the recommended amount for your body weight, it's good to take some because you need it, and your body will suck it up, and it will use it to the degree that it can use it. It's better to have a little than to have none.
Along those lines of it's better to have some than nothing, if somebody can't afford the healthy start, you know, they've got the option, obviously, of stretching 1 healthy start pack over 2 months, which is still not the optimal amounts, but it's something. But there's another package that Dr. Wallach likes to call the Classic 90.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. That has a smaller bottle of EFAs, and it's the regular EFAs instead of the EFA Plus, so it's not quite as strong EFAs. But it also has the Classic. What is the Classic?
The Ultimate Classic's a fantastic supplement because it covers all of your bases, of course, except for the EFAs, which are packaged with it. So in the Ultimate Classic, you get all of your mineral needs met, all of your vitamin needs met, all of your amino acid needs met, and as a bonus, there are 600 milligrams of calcium per ounce. Calcium, again, that's 98% absorbable. So it's a fantastic product for people that are on a limited budget because you get everything that you need in one shot.
All right. Well, I know in my 14 years of experience working with Dr. Wallach since 1997 that still there's nothing that comes close to the Healthy Start as far as people being able to take it because they like the taste. You've got great nutrition in there. And so from here on out, when we talk about the 90, 91 essential nutrients, we're going to refer to that as the Healthy Start.
Great.
Okay? And if those people, for budgetary reasons, are going to be using the Classic 90, they're going to just make that analogy on their own. But let's talk about the concerns that we come across often and what people should take for that. Now, on everything, no matter what somebody has, whether they're healthy or they have a health concern, everybody needs the 90 essential nutrients every single day.
Absolutely. I mean, you need to breathe every day. You need to eat every day. You need to drink water every day. You need your 91 essential nutrients. That's why they're called essential. Absolutely, positively, every single day.
We love to add to the Healthy Start, regardless of who it is this little brown square that people like to gobble up like it's candy.
Imagine that. Triple treat chocolate. What a fantastic product. What a testament to Dr. Wallach's genius and ongoing research by the Youngevity Company. You know, in Dr. Wallach's book, Immortality, he showed that the blue zone cultures, the people that make it to be over 100 and they're healthy, one of the things that they have stumbled upon in their diet in order to secure that is eating or drinking something that's loaded with antioxidants. Antioxidants are measured by something called an ORAC score. That's an acronym, ORAC. The people in the blue zones were accidentally consuming stuff that gave them 20,000 ORAC points a day. 20,000 ORAC points a day. In the United States, we're lucky if we get 1,500 ORAC points a day. 1,500 compared to 20,000. That's why 1 out of 10,000 Americans lives to be over 100, while 1 out of 240 of their culture makes it over 100 years old, because they're consuming way more antioxidants than we are.
So one piece of this triple treat, I know we say it has the antioxidant equivalent of about 23 servings of fruits and vegetables. From an ORAC score, how many is that?
16,900 and change. 16,900 points of antioxidant per one piece of chocolate. And let's not forget, it's chocolate.
Yeah, plus it's got the probiotics that are great for digestive health too.
Yeah, it's a boom boom. It's a great product because you get a lot of ORAC antioxidant stuff, and you get, as an extra benefit, the flora that your intestinal tract needs to stay healthy. I mean, what can be better than this? In one piece of chocolate, you're 3,000 ORAC points away from the 20,000 mark. Now, if you take the Healthy Start Pack, there's 5,000 ORAC points per 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. There's about 5,000 ORAC points. So, one Healthy Start Pack and one piece of triple treat chocolate, you're at 21,000 ORAC points, and that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the only challenge with that is I have a hard time limiting it to just one piece of chocolate a day. I mean, it means I had 92 servings worth of antioxidants just in handing those chocolates out.
Well, you know what that means. It's hard to overdose, right? And so what that means is that you are going to live a long and healthy life, because when you give the body what it needs, give the body extra antioxidants, clean your diet up, the body fixes itself. And this is our message. The body has the ability to fix itself. All it needs is the raw materials necessary to do that. So clean your diet up. Take the 91 essential nutrients in whatever form your budget will allow. Increase your antioxidants as much as your budget will allow. Live long and prosper.